What happens when the DM takes being a soldier seriously? Let me describe the situation. I am one of 5 players in a D&D 5e homebrew campaign, playing a variant human fighter. I know, ew, gross, disgusting, boring. Well, I'll play Sparkles the Elegant Sorcerer next time and make sure that all my cantrips erupt in a shower of arcane glitter. I've always been a fan of the gritty aesthetic of medieval soldiers, and I wanted to hone in on that with my character. Hence came Victoria Ashthorn, the human samurai fighter. I had an idea of what I wanted, and during session 0 the DM seemed to love my idea. He asked, "So are you a former soldier, or are you still affiliated with the army?" Not knowing it would be my own downfall, I say she's still affiliated. I wanted her to be somewhat highly ranked, but the DM was opposed to it. After some talking, he agreed to say I was a low-ranking officer since we were starting at level 3. I was more than fine with this. I roleplayed it as Victoria served in the war that ended a few years before the campaign began. She wasn't content to standing around in some fort during times of peace when she could be out in the world doing acts of good, so she applied for leave and was granted the freedom to go out and adventure. But the DM said, "You may be called back sometime if the army needs you." I didn't think much of it beyond imagining it may be some small part of the campaign later on. I was excited to play my character. Multiple sessions later, the party is all level 5, and Victoria gets a letter. It's from the commander of her army, and he's calling her back to duty. No explanation. DM, is there a possible reason? Do I know of a war brewing anywhere? Or conflict happening that might need me to return? Nope. The letter doesn't say why, but it's giving you a direct order from your superior. We didn't have any other plot hooks at the time, so the party went with Victoria to the fort so that I could report in. My plan was to enlist the party under my command so that we could continue to operate together. After discussing this with the commander, he said no and that he just needed me. This kinda confused me, and I asked the DM what this meant. He just feels better to have all his soldiers accounted for and on base. He doesn't like that you're off wandering the world. So I try to make my case to the commander, saying we've been serving the country by doing acts of good and keeping the peace in ways the army can't. But that just makes him furious. He wants to have me arrested for vigilante justice. No chance for diplomacy, and he attacks me when I show hesitation, and we roll initiative. Many rounds of combat later, the party is all unconscious thanks to this high-level NPC and his guards. We wake up and the party is set free, but Victoria gets executed. Just like that. That was it. This is when I started getting really mad at the DM. You're just gonna take out my character because I didn't want to stop adventuring? What was your plan? Me? I didn't have a plan. Your commander had a plan. He didn't like having a soldier wandering around without orders. It's nothing personal. You should have just complied. Well, how was I supposed to keep playing if he wouldn't let me keep adventuring with the party? Oh, you'd have to make a new character. That'd be the story over for her. Fighters are kind of boring. They don't get to do much at later levels anyway. Play a paladin or a barbarian. The rest of the players tried to call him out on this, but the DM took it personally and told us that the session was over and kicked us out. That was the last time I ever heard from him. Apparently he tried to get the others to keep coming, but only a few went back, and it didn't keep going for very long. I can't blame them after what he did to my character. It's very sad when a DM is unhappy with your character. This is a fantasy setting, and for a DM to say that a certain class is too boring to be played with is insulting. While a DM might be able to control the world in their own way, a player should have complete freedom in choosing who they want to be especially if it's within reason. It's in especially poor taste to try to solve the problem in-game instead of just talking things out and confusing everyone / wasting everyone's time. What do you all think about this situation?